Hey everyone. So I wanted to chat today. One of my dear friends reached out to me yesterday, and we chatted about loss and how, each one of us are affected and have different journeys, but we can all relate when there's a tragedy or a tragic loss, within our lives. And so today I wanted to at least share my thoughts on it. With each breath, I wonder where life's journey is going to take me and take those that I love. And I really try not to take things for granted, which I think is very difficult because we often get consumed in our day-to-day life. But I think it's very important that we all try and focus a little bit more on what's really important and not what social media is telling us is important, what other people might be telling us, that's important, and really honor who we are and the people who show up, in our lives. Tragedy can touch at, a moment's notice. And a tragedy is not simply about a loss of life. Sometimes it can be a loss of what was. I can think of many circumstances where I've said, I just want things to go back to the way it was. I don't know if you can relate to that, but I think for some of us, that can be a great tragedy and very hard to deal with. I think that we've all suffered. Every human being has suffered with some type of tragedy in their life or another. Maybe a friendship that was severed. Somebody very close to you has become tragically ill. A car accident. Really anything. And while loss can really penetrate our being, it doesn't have to define our every step. And that's kind of what I wanted to focus on today. I think some people are affected by a tragedy, and then that's the reason why everything, and it sometimes can turn to a very negative process. And I think from an early age, when I experienced the death of a close friend in high school, or what, even in my 20s, I tried to take that pain and that tragedy and turn it into something good. I had a really hard time processing a death in my 20s, and I really got into running. And to some people it seemed like, oh, she doesn't care because she's out running, like look at her, like she gets out of work and then she runs. But it was really the only way that I could calm my mind, because I felt like my reality had been kind of jolted, and I was just kind of a mess, and I really wanted to focus on just recentering. I've experienced pain and violence and sudden loss, family and friends being ill. I look back, and years of my life have been altered by events that I feel I should have never experienced, And yet today, I really do smile freely, and I appreciate the gifts that life offers. Life really does, jazz my soul. Every turn can lead to new possibilities, as long as you're open and receptive, to them. And that's all in being grateful. With the knowledge that things can change in a moment, I really try to actively engage in my life. I really try to actively engage in every part of my life. And I think that keeps my mind busy, and keeps me focused on just that, you know, being grateful. I try not to let frustration or anger fuel me. When I'm in those spots, when something tragic has happened in my life, I acknowledge them. Yeah, you can't ignore them because they're going to pop up in some area of your life. But I just try and sit with them and understand why I feel the way I feel, you know, and journaling can be a great opportunity to reconnect with being grateful. I really do. I try to surround myself with people that put a smile on my face, and I try and allow myself to be that person too. You know, and tough moments come, and they undoubtedly do for everyone. You know, but it's really like life is just too sacred to get wrapped up in the darkness, to be so consumed by one life event that you stop living. You know, I've started a practice now before I go to bed, and I feel like I would have benefited from starting it a lot earlier, but what's that quote about the tree? You know, the second best time to plant a tree is right now. So the second best time for me to start, you know, going to bed, and I literally just rattle off everything that I'm grateful for. And sometimes it doesn't feel right, because sometimes I lay my head down on my pillow and I'm like, I'm mad. Like, I'm mad at what happened during the day. I'm upset with something. And I just have started to really force myself to say, you know what, I'm grateful that my mom and I talked today. You know, I'm grateful that I was able to go through my life and go to the mail at lunch. And I mean, just seemingly simple things, but that attitude of gratitude is the best way to go to bed, because then I wake up and I feel a different, you know, peace. And, you know, there's a lot of things. I think that, you know, I just ditched my notes here because I really wanted to just say, like, you really don't know what's going to happen. Like, nobody does. So you can't just stop living. And that's like, man, you gotta process it, and you have to go after it. So when something tragic happens in your life, like, yes, honor it, honor that person, honor the way it was, but remember how special that person or how awesome that experience made you feel, and recreate it in different ways in your life. You know, you really have to be grateful. Like, I've always said, like, I don't want to be the type of person that drives down the street and doesn't smile. You know, I recently changed jobs, and I was very thankful that, and this is going to sound so silly, that I don't have to drive past the same people who are like driving to work, like, I don't even know, like, it's so absurd to me. It's like, I sing on my way to work. I talk to a girlfriend. I listen to books. I smile. I laugh. And that takes a conscious effort. But it's like, I feel like it also, people are so dead set on just being miserable and unhappy. And it's like, you know, just be grateful. So this is a little bit of a scattered video, but I enjoyed it nonetheless. And I know that life is difficult sometimes and things are hard to process, and you don't have to process them all. Like, just respect yourself, journal, and allow yourself to feel the feelings, but don't let the negative parts of life change who you are as a person or affect what you want to create in the world. So I am going to go in and eat my lunch, and you guys have a great day.